back in the early days of the festival, Finley Stewart, who founded the festival, Karen Morgan, who also directed the festival for years, and Paul and I, we were often the last four standing at the end of a night. And it was the last night of the festival, Saturday night, late. We'd been packing things away and we'd been putting things up, and we'd had a couple of beers as we were loading things and getting pickup trucks ready to go, and getting ready for really the full strike, which would be on Sunday morning. One of the last things we had to do that night was to take the golf cart we had borrowed from TWU back to its home,
little parking shed.
To its little parking shed. So Paul and I got in the golf cart, and we were followed closely by Finley in his truck.
Brand new truck.
His brand new truck. Karen had to locate the keys to the shed, and she was going to meet us at the parking place. So we took off down one of the little streets in TWU, heading for the parking shed. And the battery ran out on the golf cart, completely ran out. We just stopped. Finley, who's following us and not paying a lot of attention, hit us from the rear.
With his brand new truck.
With his brand new truck. We get out. Paul and I are concerned about the golf cart. We're thinking, oh no, Karen's going to kill us. We've hurt the golf cart. We look at the golf cart. It looks fine. Finley jumps out of the truck, though, looks at the front of his truck.
He didn't really care that much about the golf
He
cart.
didn't care anything about the golf cart. Oh, my truck! Look at this grill! What are we going to do? He started carrying on. We calmed him down. We decided the only way to get the golf cart back to its home was for him to gently hit us from behind and push us all the way to the parking spot. So we got there, and we couldn't believe Karen still wasn't there yet. So we decided we would just wait. She'd be here in a minute. At that point, Paul, like I mentioned, we'd had a couple of beers.
Couple.
Paul really needed to pee.
We thought this would be just a 5-minute trip, but it turned into 45 minutes or more.
So Paul walked across the parking lot to where there were some bushes.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
It seemed like a good idea at the time. And I mentioned to Finley, I can't believe how you men can take care of situations like this. Women can't do that. Finley and I stood there. We saw that Paul had turned his back to us and had taken the stance that most people know what's going on when that stance is taken. And at that precise moment, Karen pulls into the parking lot. Now, Karen could have turned to the right where Finley and I were standing, or turned to the left where Paul was. Finley and I just sat back and we just watched it all unfold. She turned to the left. She pulled right in next to Paul. Her lights shined right on him. And Finley and I just fell on the ground. We were rolling. It's the hardest I've ever laughed in my life. And Finley and I we couldn't even stand up. We were laughing so hard. We're rolling on the ground. We're just holding our sides. We can't stand it. About that time, we look up, and there's Paul, and there's Karen, and they're looking down at us. And at that point, Paul says,
I don't think it's that funny.
And of course, that was all Finley and I had to hear, that Paul didn't think it was that funny. And we had to dissolve again into laughter. And we've thought about that many, many times.
Many times.
And
But it wasn't that funny.
it was
not that
it
funny.
was that funny. Karen has grown to see the humor in it. At the time, she was so mortified. I don't
She
think
was somewhat
thought it
shocked when she realized she had just popped right out of the driver's seat of her van and, well, here.
Because, once he started, there wasn't anything he could do but
I was
finish
going.
yeah, but you were. Oh, it was great.